Alright, hello everybody. This is your severe weather briefing for July 14th. This will be mainly focused on the Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin area. Here you are looking at the Lincoln, Illinois radar, and there is a boundary over the Peoria metro right now, north and south of it as well. This will likely initiate a couple storms later this afternoon along the boundary. Storms will probably move to the northeast to easterly direction along with the boundary. If a storm can latch onto the said boundary, we could see a risk for a tornado as well, but that risk is quite low. Damaging winds and hail will remain the main threats from this. Dew points throughout the area are into the upper 60s slash low to mid 70s. Um, and we'll show you in a second here, but we have storms forming along this boundary further to the south in Missouri and uh, in eastern Missouri, and these will move off toward the Springfield metro. Also looks like we might be getting either ground clutter here. Looks like that is ground clutter. But this boundary exists all the way back into Missouri, and there's storms forming along it. Severe warning storm there in Kansas as well. And if we shift over to the Kansas side of things really quickly, we have a more robust storm situated just west of Topeka, Kansas, and its environment will be favorable for producing damaging winds, significant damaging winds on the table. Right now, based off radar estimates, this thing is producing 60 knot mile per hour or 60 knot wind gusts, so that's around 70 mile per hour. We also have clusters organizing further west in Kansas with potential for a tornado or two out there, large hail, and damaging wind gusts. There was a 75 mile per hour wind gust southeast of Phillipsburg. Now, the main risk of stuff will be a little bit later on as these clusters kind of congeal. More storms are forming further to the south of this one that might clash with this outflow boundary here, which could end up being an interesting collision and maybe some rotating storms there. Alright, let's move on into what is currently at our surface map. That's the wrong thing. So here's satellite across Missouri and Illinois, and as you can see here, we have a CU field or cumulus field building along this boundary here across portions of Missouri and into Illinois. These storms are rapidly expected to develop over the next few hours and will provide threats for damaging wind gusts, hail, and perhaps a tornado. Further off to the east, we can see we have a rather robust thunderstorm complex there near Topeka, Kansas, and another one forming behind it. And we're going to go to the subregional sector because these storms are massive. As you can see, these storms are diving off to the southeast, so places like Wichita, um, Independence, Kansas, the Kansas City metro itself, Springfield, Missouri, Joplin, Missouri will have a threat of severe weather over the next few hours. If we look into the Storm Prediction Center's outlook, there is a large enhanced risk across portions of really eastern central Kansas down in northern Oklahoma and western Missouri. There's also a chance for a tornado or two along with that, but the main threat is going to be significant wind gusts on the order of 90 mile per hour. Also going to have potential for large hail as well. For Illinois and Wisconsin, eastern Missouri, eastern Iowa, there's going to be a threat for damaging winds and hail mainly with that. Going up and looking at mesoscale analysis currently, you can see that there is an area of low-level instability developing in western Illinois along that boundary, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Same thing's kind of ongoing in Iowa, where storms are starting to develop here as well. We have a maximum of third Cape and vorticity as well over in Kansas, so there will be potential for a couple tornadoes this afternoon. Our mixed layer instability is quickly on the rise with areas in Kansas ahead of this bubbling MCS and along a boundary around 4,000 joules per kilogram. That will really turn that into a power gig type MCS situation. One of the problems though is that deep layer shear is only 30 to 40 knots, but given the rather extreme instability in place, this will help kind of guide it and really strengthen it, especially with a pretty robust shortwave that's on its hinges. As you can see here, there's another shortwave in Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin that's also going to provide potential here for severe storms. And we can see this shortwave here. There's also another one here, and then there's another one kind of in here. Multiple different shortwaves that are going to be perusing the Midwest. HRRR future reflectivity, it's showing this complex kind of moving into Kansas and really starting to organize, and then more storms forming in Illinois. I can bet you that these storms in Illinois will probably form about 2 to 4 hours before the HRRR shows them. Looking into low-level shear. There's not much of it today. It'll be maximized in areas along a boundary, which is noted really right in through here is where the boundary is. So anywhere in here, there could be maybe a brief tornado or two. Looking at our surface observations, dew points are widespread in the 70s and lows and upper 60s. This is translating to rather high theta E values, especially in Kansas. You can see there is a clear-cut theta E gradient type thing in Kansas, and it's moving down through here. So this is going to be the track of the more intense MCS later today. It's going to go probably eastward, dive southeastward along the hinges of a shortwave. You can also see there's more moisture getting into kind of north central Illinois as well, with higher pockets in Missouri. So this is really going to help kind of maximize the severe weather threat. We have a surface low that has developed really right on the hinges of this thunderstorm cluster that's moving eastward. We also have another surface low in Nebraska that's moving eastward. So we're really going to have multiple different areas of storm activity today. Forgot to mention, but there is another surface low in the southeast that could provide some isolated severe potential in Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. Let's go into a more broad kind of position. We can see there will be some stronger storm potential over Michigan today. With that cluster here, there's going to be severe potential across the northeast, generally in here, maybe back into PA as well, with this low pressure system that's located here. And then we can also see your daily chances for strong storms will exist in this general area as normal. SBC doesn't have a risk further to the southeast, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple stronger storms there. Now, this is what I tweeted out on my Twitter page, and Weather Underground clearly has a boundary kind of situated over the Illinois River Valley here. As you can see, a little bit hotter temperatures on the other side with a little bit lower dew points. This side of the boundary has a little bit higher dew points, so we'll really have to see what happens here. There is currently a bit of a warm nose, as noted in the mid-levels, with some capping there, and we also have a little bit of low-level capping. This is currently eroding, and we can see lots of cloud layer shear today, so there's probably going to be lots of hailers today across the Illinois area, with damaging winds also being a possibility. And then we can see, of course, that boundary noted on GR2 Analyst, and more 3 Cape also probably and a possibility. And then, yeah, so here we go, Weather Underground again. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, it's not wanting to load. We'll look at HREF though, and we can see there's multiple maximums for severe potential today. We have one over kind of the Mississippi River Valley, one in Nebraska into Kansas, into the Kansas City area, and one in northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and into the Indiana and more eastern Illinois area. Looking into the east central area, I think is where, oh no, the Mid-Atlantic. We can see there's a maximum here in South Carolina, North Carolina, and then there's another maximum in New Jersey, PA, New York, and Connecticut. So we're watching a complex summer day with multiple different modes of severe weather. Make sure you are weather aware if you are anywhere in the risk, and this is your July 14th, 2023 severe weather briefing.